Shit. So the other day, you sent me a hilarious video of this racist milkadad talking shit about Post Malone for about 10 minutes. I was enraged, but also inspired to take a look at Beerbongs and Bentleys. Metalhead, you've done some thorough research for this one. What do you know about Post Malone?
When I first discovered Post Malone, it was from a friend of mine.
Shout out to Dog.
I was always intrigued to listen to it. The first song I ever heard was Sunflower.
The white girl anthem.
When you said that you wanted to do Beerbongs and Bentleys, that's when I was like, all right, hell yeah, this is where I can actually really get into Post Malone.
Question of the day, is Post Malone really a rapper? Or is he a pop star? For me personally, I think he's a pop star. When have we actually heard Post Malone like rap? You know what I mean? Like, it says rap on his stuff. He uses the trap beats, but I don't think he's ever rapped ever.
No, I agree. He's pop.
Beerbongs and Bentleys is one that really turned some heads. Mostly turned my head because this was back in high school. I talk about that like that was like decades ago. It was actually like 2 years ago. Yeah. But when it was coming out, my friends were talking about, oh shit, you're going to listen to that new Post Malone record? I'm like, hey, you know what? Stoney was all right. Had some decent songs. I liked Big Lie was great. Congratulations, obviously. But I wasn't like, holy shit, I'm here for every Post Malone record afterwards. Mm-hmm. This is the album that did that for me. But without further ado, we'll get into the first track, Paranoid.
Black Sabbath.
Post documents his struggles with fame on Paranoid, as you'll see, as a common theme. Not just the different lifestyle, but also the mental health struggles that come with that. And we talk about how, you know, Neil Peart from Rush talks about how he kind of hates meeting the fans and meet and greet. And we were kind of like, well, you know, they kind of give you your career, but at the same time you can kind of see, you know, just want to have a day out by yourself, and then all of a sudden you get mobbed by strangers pretending like you know them for like 15 years.
There's a Woody Harrelson meme where he's like crying with money. That's what I always picture when it's like, oh, I'm famous and it's so much stress. I'm like what? No, when you do really separate yourself from it, you do realize that there is issues that they deal with. He's not saying that like screw the fans. He's saying like this life is great, but it's not always what it's meant out to be, like from the outside view. I know he had the issue with Jake Paul.
I understand you're a huge Jake Paul fan.
I know you're excited to see the Floyd Mayweather and Jake Paul fight.
Actually, I might watch that.
I might watch
Low-key,
that.
I might actually watch that. It's the slowed down reverse piano notes give it a really deep, melancholy feel, which perfectly matches the meaning and the lyrics of the song. As an opener, I think it's terrific too, so I give it a 7.5. It's
his sophomore album, so now he's richer and more famous. So it kind of gives you that perspective that he's going through at the current time. I gave it a 7. I have to agree.
It was nice to see a switch up just going into the second track on this album. Compared to the first one, a much more upbeat, much more happy feel.
And it talks about having a good time at a party or a club, and you have to deal with chicks that want to ruin things with emotions. Because when you're listening to Post Malone, it's either rich or females.
One thing that I loved about Post Malone is that while his peers usually do the same type of stuff, bragging about riches and then occasionally get like a heartbreak song in there, with Post, it's really deeper than that. He goes a little bit deeper. He actually describes an image rather than, you know, I slept with this hoe, then I went and did this Xanny, then I drank this much lean, all at once in like one verse. Swae Lee was there. He was on the track. It says it right there, featuring Swae Lee. I give this one an 8.
I give this one a 7.5.
You're just gonna do that the whole time. You're just gonna go one lower. Okay, I see how it is. We're back to the the unfortunate parts about being rich, along with, again, his peers who just talk about how great it is to be rich. He actually covers the negative aspects of being rich, so I respect him that much more for that. Even the way he describes it vividly in his lyrics, you know, in a big house all alone, the sad flute beat, the hard-hitting 808s make it one of my favorite beats on the entire album. So I give this one a 7.5.
Basically, the whole song about money can't buy happiness, and I think Frank Dukes' production on this song, awesome atmosphere, really captures the point of the whole song about being rich and sad. You know, instead of it just being like, I'm rich, here's my Bentley and my chicks, it's I'm rich and I'm sad. Post brings you into the real world, kind of. I give it a 7.
Did you ever watch Sweet Life?
Yeah, here and there. I wasn't a huge fan, but it wasn't terrible.
The real version or the boat version?
Real version, the hotel one.
Okay, I watched the boat version.
Did you like it? Or?
I thought it was solid. Yeah. I heard the real version's better. I think it's clever, though, how he ties that into, you know, his hotel parties, though. It makes sense, right? He's living the sweet life. The show takes place in the hotel or the suite, and he's throwing these sweet parties. So that was a cool nostalgia and tie-in.
A lot of the girls that were like, oh my God. He was smart to do that big time. It's like a party song, really, which fits the album. 7.
Finally, okay, I give it an 8. There we go.
All
All
right.
right, we broke away finally. So I understand you have a lot to say about this one, so why don't you go first?
You know I don't have a lot to say about this one. Like I said before, with Sweet Life of Zack and Codeine fits the album. It's not one of my favorites because it's just kind of like a basic song, just a party song about just taking shots and having a good time.
The industrial but distorted beat makes it actually one of my favorites on the album. Yes, I agree with you. It's not like the most substantial, but at least this time it's not about being rich, so you got that.
That's
there
true.
You go.
There you go. It's
there you go. One. It's just another track about hedonism, and while I think it doesn't necessarily do anything extra for the album, I still think it's a nice ad, so I gave it a 7.
Yeah, I don't think it's a horrendous song in any aspect. 6.
Okay, good. There we go.
Yeah.
After listening to the song for the 69,420,000th time, you start to pick up on the little details. On the surface, it doesn't sound like much is going on, but with the headphones on, you hear the deep 808s, you hear his softer voiceover, which is a great combo.
In the song, he pays homage to how when Led Zeppelin would go to hotels, they would throw TVs out the
Yes,
window.
that's right. I figured you'd like this one because they name drop, Bon Scott and Jim
yeah.
Morrison.
I'm sure most of the rap fans listen to that and they're like, they have no fucking idea who he's talking about.
Or just most people listening to this, right? Post and the change up with 21, I think, creates a really cool dynamic.
I'm not a huge fan of 21, but I would have to agree that he did match Post's flow and he transitioned well.
Again, it's talking about the details. The slowed down outro, I think, really puts the nice cherry on top. So I give this one a 7.5.
I give it an 8.5.
There's always that one track when first listen, you kind of just brush over, and then you come back and you're like, how the fuck did I miss this? That's over now for me.
I love the delay pedal intro with the guitar, and it features Tommy Lee from Motley Crue on the drums.
I thought he was a porn star.
He's a drummer on the side.
Yes. Full-time porn star. The airy and dreamy feel of the whole song, accompanied with the acoustic guitar, makes it a perfect track to go with the more moody aspect and the theme of the whole song. I slept on this song, so I had to apologize by giving it an 8.
I love the laid-back feel, and it's really cool having Tommy Lee on there, but I gave it a 7.
I think this song ages like a fine wine. It's like the more you listen to it, the more you pick up on the details and a little bit better it gets, kind of like Rockstar. This is kind of like a mood ring song. Like if you're feeling high energy, it can be a high energy workout song, but if you're feeling kind of chilled, it could be a chill song too.
I just love the energy it feels and the way they made the production and the beat follow his kind of melancholy chorus line.
Do you know about Ty Dolla Sign? What do you know about Ty Dolla Sign?
I don't know anything about him.
So if you want to create like the stereotypical 2010s rap song, it needs to feature Ty Dolla Sign. No one has actually ever heard a solo Ty Dolla Sign song. He's kind of just like something you add on. He's like a plug-in in Logic. I wasn't like crazy about it, but I did think it definitely didn't take away from it. I think if anything, it added to it. Okay. So I gave the whole song an 8.
I gave the whole song 8.5.
Better Now, the breakup song.
Yes, he captured the perfect lyrics for anybody who was in the same position as him.
Especially since this is like what now the third song on here with the same theme.
Yeah,
it still makes it a standout because of the detail he puts not only into the songwriting but also the beat. Whoever produced the beat, the guitar tone with the vintage feel. It's the big hit from the album, and I think it deserves it. So I give this one a 9.
Shit.
Did you give it a 9 too? Of course, yeah. I was feeling that.
It's my favorite off the album. From personal experience, I can also relate to what he says in the song, so that's what helps me give it the edge. So that's why I gave it a 9. And also, once again, great production.
I love the beat. The beat is really good. I think what Post adds to it with his voice is kind of like shades of Stoney, where once again he's going for more like the ball and lifestyle. Nicki Minaj,
your favorite,
was also there. She was on the track. I said Nicki Minaj featuring. It has some good qualities to it, but it definitely doesn't stand out with all the stuff we covered before, so I gave this one a 6.
It doesn't really stand out. So, I mean, I'll just cut to the chase, and I gave it 6.5.
This is the kind of song that they play when, like, Cam Newton gets injured, and then they have that thing they play before Sunday Night Football on NBC, and they're like talking about the recovery, and they're playing the announcers in the background. Like, this is the song that plays.
I know that he's into the older music like I am, which helps me relate to him.
He was on Joe Rogan, and he talked about all the stuff he grew up listening to, like Sabbath and Zeppelin.
Hell yeah.
So which I think really separates him from his peers, whereas he knows what goes into making not just rap music, but music of all kinds.
It's like a really heartfelt song, excellent lyrical approach towards it. I gave it a 7.5.
7.5. I gave it an 8. Stay, I think, is a bold move for Post. Like we mentioned, Post wasn't just a one-dimensional listener when he was growing up. So I think it was a bold move to put a song on here that's just 100% guitar and singing on a rap album. But I still think it's brilliant, and it's one of my favorites on the entire album.
Like, yeah, the album is tailored for rap fans. So I think that's really cool that he was able to change pace just for one song. I think he knew. He's like, all right, let me just do one song for fans that like me, who like the traditional sound stuff.
The reason that I'm going to give this an 8 is not necessarily exactly for the song composition itself, but it's for the strategy that he had on this album and the boldness of putting this where it is on this album. Blame It On Me is the most slept on song. The slow build up takes you into the powerful, hard-hitting main chorus. Post goes deeper lyrically on this one, where he not only talks about, you know, his relationship issues, but he also gives the different thoughts that go through your head. Like, is it my fault? It's her fault. It's my fault again.
Another really heartfelt kind of like song that he mixed together with relationship aspect and then also being a rapper, which might affect his relationships with other people. Definitely not a standout one for me, but definitely nowhere near terrible.
So that's what I mean. It's underrated. Where are my Blame It On Me fans? Where are you? In the comment section. Please. Where are you? I give this one an 8.5.
I gave this one a 7. I know this is your favorite 2 features. Definitely a funny song about dealing with the same chicks all the time, like the gold diggers. But it's not really a standout one. It's definitely got that cool party feel to it, and you can really get behind it if you're in the same position they are, which I don't think a lot of people are unless you're like a pimp or if you're like super rich.
I thought it was cool, at least how they gave it a more West Coast feel for G-Eazy and YG, because they're both from California.
Yeah.
G-Eazy I know is from Oakland. I'm pretty sure YG is from that area too. I used to give G-Eazy a lot of shit because he tries to sound black when he raps. But he can actually get away with it, I think. On the song, I think he actually added a little bit to the song. I liked his flow. His flow was pretty impressive. And YG
was there.
So I gave this one a 6.5.
I gave this one a 6.
92 Explorer, talking about underrated songs. And this really encompasses why we love Posty, because like all the rappers, and Post does it too, he's like, I want a fucking diamond encrusted Rolls Royce that has like gold rims and shit. Posty is like, give me that 92 Explorer.
Yes, it is really cool. It actually is really cool car.
It's not often you see a modern rap album keep this much energy and momentum this deep into an album, so that's why I give it so much more respect. I also love the marimba beat.
It's funny in its own regards to who he is as a person.
You know that Fantano shitted on this song? So that's actually why I then decided to wage war on Anthony Fantano by launching the SIW show to take him down from his #1 review spot.
Holy shit, you heard it first.
Just because he shit on 92 Explorer.
I give it a 7.
I give this one a 9 because it's top 3 for me on this album.
All
Definitely
right.
top 3. Candy Paint.
Here it is.
Why the fuck was this on the album?
Oh,
this was on.
No,
it's not because of what I think of it. It was on the Fast and Furious album. I guess to maybe just get that extra song on here. But yeah, as far as the actual song, we'll let you start off.
92 Explorer is top 3 for you.
It's top 3 for you.
Yeah, I really do. I love Candy Paint. I think the chorus is just something you can really get behind. I think it's catchy, it's funny, and the opening verse is hilarious. This is a song that I could drive with the windows down in my 2006 car. Like, yeah. But the atmosphere it brings, the production, the catchy chorus, I gave it a 9.
Holy fucking shit.
Here it comes.
Look, this is definitely a feel-good song. And it's very popular, but once again, we are the fucking social injustice warriors. And we're not going to sit here and blow smoke up the ass of shit we don't like. So I'm going to be straight up with you. It is not one of my favorites on the album. It still definitely has redeeming qualities. It's definitely that more upbeat feel. It's energetic. It's a great party song. But it's just... for the entire song, and it's just like, okay, can we get something a little bit different here? And the beat kind of follows that, so it's super repetitive. It's definitely not a song that I'm like, this is terrible, turn it off. I still have positive feelings about that, which is why I gave it a 6. It's definitely, I think, one of the more overrated on the album. Sugar fucking Wraith. My absolute favorite on the album.
This one's definitely in the top 5 for me. The thing that really caught my attention, how the chorus, and they have like the synth backup as he's singing. That takes cool attention to detail that a lot of people don't do. Some people would just be like, hit the snare like 5 times. They're like, all right, this is the beat for the whole 5-minute song.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We're good.
You mean like Candy Paint?
Yeah. Another thing that is great about the song is it closes the album, I think, perfectly. Especially the outro where the synth continues the chorus even though he's not singing anymore.
And how about calling out Fantano?
No, I actually...
You didn't catch that? He called out Fantano. He said, your new shit sucks. I feel like Anthony Fantano.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Even though it talks about some of the same subjects that we talked about earlier on the album, it's a song that not only summarizes Posty's approach to life, it's one that carries the energy over from Stoney and over onto Hollywood's Bleeding, which we'll probably get to soon as well.
Hell yeah.
So I gave this one a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow. I'll do 9.
Now, what did Metalhead think of his first full Post Malone experience?
Just like Astroworld, excellent atmosphere. Like we were talking about how Post goes below the surface level, and he does what actually is what music's meant to be, like it's expression of yourself and the topics that you talk about, not just random bullshit that makes no sense. The relationship songs are awesome, and he was able to perfectly put himself in your shoes and vice versa. I give the whole album an 8.
This is still one of my favorite albums of all time. I actually gave this album of the year for 2018 over Astroworld.
Wow.
Because of what I think it has to offer in terms of Post being able to carry a little bit more by himself, where Astroworld was very feature heavy. Sticking with my rating from 2018, I give this one an 8 as well.
Oh, all right, cool. Same wavelength.
Nice.
Very nice.